I never saw such beautiful landscaping.
You own a landscaping business. You're incredible.
You're listening to the Outdoor Project Podcast. Hear real conversations with leaders in the hardscape and landscape industry. Listen on Spotify or watch behind the scenes and more on YouTube. This podcast is sponsored by Alliance. Quality products formulated for all of your hardscaping needs. Glues, sands, edging, and more from Alliance.
H&A 2022, live from Louisville. We have Sarah and Mary Beth. You want to introduce yourself and explain your part of H&A?
Sure. Well, welcome to Louisville and welcome to H&A, Hardscape North America. I'm Sarah Provancher, and I'm the marketing coordinator for the trade show. And we're excited to be here. Just opened just maybe 20 minutes ago to the crowds. Thousands of people are here joining us, so it's a pretty exciting time.
Now, how do you start the day? Like today, what is today? You say, I think it's a dealer day till noon, or how do you run your first day?
Right. So dealers can come in from 9 to noon the first day, and we change the times depending on year to year. But yes, they're here from 9 to noon, and then at noon the show is open to everyone. So indoors and outside. So we have in total 50,000 square feet, which of H&A exhibitors inside and outside, and then all kinds of live demonstrations and installer championships, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So do you want to add to that, Mary Beth, and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Mary Beth Hall. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for ICPI NCMA. Okay. We are the merged organization of the former Interlocking Concrete Pavement Institute and National Concrete Masonry Association. We are the hosts of the H&A show, so we put it together. It's a really big part of our association and what we do and our identity.
So you're a big deal. You're like the educational part to all of this.
She oversees it all. Operation.
This time. But it's a big team effort. We have a really great team of staff members, and everybody's involved in it this year. I don't think we left anybody behind. Yeah. So it's a really big event for our association. It means a lot to us to be out here with contractors and working in our industry and really getting the word out about what we do and getting the education programming here for the event.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're drawing a lot of contractors, and with the ICPI and MCMA, that's the educational part to construction and installations, to outdoor patios, retaining walls, and stuff like that. So you've played a big part in, we're a dealer, Sensenig Landscape Supply, so you play a big part to educating our contractors, or at least passing on the information so we can pass on the information to our contractors. So you guys play a big part, and it's nice to see because you guys got a lot of stuff going on here. We have local trade shows. Let's say we're based out of Rochester, Syracuse, upstate area, New York, and we do trade shows, and we might draw, we have a big booth, kind of like these booths. At the beginning of the year, we have a trade show, and we draw maybe, I would say 10 to 15,000 people at that show for a 3-day weekend. What does this show draw over a 3-day, period of time?
So H&A is co-located with Equip, which is a lawn and landscape show. So H&A brings, I think we're at just over 2,000 attendees this year.
We're above it. We've skyrocketed past that in registration. Before we even got here, we were over 3,000.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
So
it's a great year for us.
Which is awesome. And then in total, there's over 20,000.
With the equipment and stuff.
With the Equip show, et cetera. So, yes, so there's a lot of people here. But H&A is obviously a huge draw for our hardscape contractors, and so much to see and do. And
the nice thing is they both go hand in hand, right? You get the guys here that the contractors, they want to see all new products, what they can bring to an outdoor living space, but yet they need the tools to do it. So it goes hand in hand, and that's the best thing about this show. And I think the excitement for me is both, really. But I see a lot of these guys, because you're going to bring in guys that are building outdoor living spaces, but you still bring in the maintenance guys, which is a huge draw for this show as well. So,
there's also a lot of education, I would say.
Yes.
And I think that's what Mary Beth can speak to, just in terms of, learning what the best, techniques to perform your job. And Mary Beth, do you want to talk about some of the highlights on the education?
Sure, the education program this year is terrific. We have Local Roots Landscaping, I believe they're from the Pittsburgh area, working in our demo area this year, and they're doing a build from start to finish. So every session is a part of that build, and they're going to actually be doing it while they're talking about the techniques they're using and that kind of thing. So we're really, really excited about that demo this year.
Now, what are they building? What's involved with that?
You know, I have not seen the plans for that.
Oh, okay. Did they design it as well?
Yeah, they designed a project, and so it'll have segmental retaining wall. It'll have some sort of patio type of thing. It's almost always an outdoor living area.
Do you know how long that build's going to take them?
It'll take a full 3 days while they're doing the demos. So every piece of it is the next step.
Yeah.
Every session's the next step in the build.
So they got to be using tools out there too, right?
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's a really huge area. It's very, very well attended typically, and everybody loves to go out there and just watch it.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
Now,
and ask questions. It's just a great live learning experience.
Yeah, because I mean, every day you're learning, right? Whether you're a novice or you're just somebody's been doing it for years or whatever. There's always tricks to the trade. They might have something out there that some of these guys that's been doing it for 20 years, they might not know. So those are little things that I'm sure you're going to draw a big group over there. What about competitions? I know like over the years there was like paver laying competitions, like how fast you could lay pavers. What type of competitions do you have going on this year?
We have our Hardscape Installer Championship. It's 12 teams that are sponsored by industry folks like Belgard, like Keystone. I'm going to name some and get myself in trouble. But a lot of our manufacturer partners and associate partners have come forward and sponsored teams. So these teams come in, they compete in a prelim round and then finals. So prelim is a speed sort of thing, and they have a certain project they have to get done. In the championship round, which is the top 4, they go in and build something that they've created within the parameters they were given to create, and they have an hour to do it.
Nice.
So it's high speed.
Wow.
It is high speed.
Very
yeah,
intense.
it's a test. They have to cut everything. They have to place everything. They've got to compact everything. So I mean, it's got to be done right, like from the base up. And so they do it in an hour. It's fantastic to watch.
And how are they judged at the end? Are they judged only on speed? Are they judged with like craftsmanship? Are they judged?
They are judged definitely on craftsmanship, and some of it is the originality of the project, the techniques they used. Did they use proper techniques in getting that installation done in an hour, or did they just kind of throw it together? So they definitely have it's pretty varied in what they judge. It takes a good hour to judge each project too. So the judges are very in depth. It's a big feather in a cap to win that.
I bet. And how many contractors are in that competition? Do you know?
It's 12 teams.
12 teams.
So we limited it to 12 this year to try this new sponsorship concept. And Rob Bowers is our staff member who runs that, and he and I have spent some time talking about, do we want to go to 16? And what would it take to go to 16? So we're starting those conversations now for next year. So we're already on it. Yeah,
and I think it's a big draw because I know we had some contractors locally where we are that wanted to get in it, and maybe they were late on, signing up for it. But I bet you, I mean, if I had a couple guys in Rochester, the Syracuse, Buffalo area, the whole country, it's a draw, So I'm sure you could go a little bit bigger, but how big can you go? I don't know.
That's right. It definitely has grown over the years in the interest level, and like Mary Beth said, the feather in your cap for the winners. It means serious bragging rights. The winner also gets an $18,000 prize package valued at $18,000. So it includes equipment, etc., that they take home with them. So it's a significant, prize package, and it's significant bragging rights, I would say, as well.
Now, if you had, let's say you got 12, right? Let's say you had 100 applicants. How do you narrow those applicants down for this competition?
Well, the spin we took this year was that we found our 12 sponsors, and the sponsors actually found their teams. Oh. So they may have vetted them down through regional competitions or things like that, and then found their top people. So we really pushed that away from us trying to decide that when we don't know these contractors every day.
Yeah.
So it was kind of neat concept, and it worked really well for us this year. This was our first attempt at it. It's modeled after several other competitions in different trades.
Okay.
And so it was a great model to try. I think we found it very successful. And it's not without its challenges, but it really does let us bring the best of the best by drawing on the knowledge that our producer members and associate members have of their clients.
Wow. So how does this year, Sarah, attendance compared to, let's say, last year? And then you were shut down for COVID, right, for a couple of years.
Yes.
So how does this attendance compared to last year's?
Well, we've been excited to see attendance definitely bounce back very quickly. So I think we've exceeded our records this year in terms of attendance numbers, which is amazing. We've also exceeded our numbers in terms of exhibitor numbers. So we have 180 exhibitors this year, like I said, inside and out. So dealers and manufacturers, et cetera, showing their equipment and stones and pavers and the whole thing. So we have about 30% new exhibitors this year. So it's a show that's always changing, which I think is what keeps people coming back year to year. It's not, you don't always see the same exhibitors. You see new ones. You see new ones that are rising in the industry or popping up in the industry. And, obviously with new techniques and new trends, et cetera. So it's we see a lot of people, again, come back year after year because they just get so much from being here. Yeah, so being in charge of marketing, it's for us is like, how do you find new avenues to market your company? It's like, me and Ben finding this podcast or, creating a podcast to reach maybe further than we did before. What are some challenges that you come across in order for this show to grow? I mean, what are some new trends that you do in order to market? Sure. We definitely, we have been looking more and more at the influencer audiences, as I know that you have some of the influencers on some upcoming podcasts. Because the influencers are out there talking to their followers. And so that is something new in the past couple of years that's become bigger for us in a marketing sense. And it's very one-on-one. It's just establishing the credibility with the influencers, establishing the relationship, and getting them to talk more about what the show is like, because we can't possibly reach everyone through, mailers or digital marketing or whatever it is. So word of mouth kind of has come back around to being a, popular way of reaching potential attendees and those in the industry. Yeah, do you think, you mentioned how you got, I think it was 33 new 30%. 30%. Okay, Yep. What do you think from last year to this year? What is this, word of mouth? I mean, it's just new. Do you think there's new products or do you think there was just after 2 years of not doing anything, people want to get back involved with these shows? I think it's a little bit of all of that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Mary Beth, do you have a thought on what?
We have a fantastic sales team that's really helped us get this exhibitor thing rounded out. We're absolutely sold out. Some of it's reflective on their efforts, and some of it really is all these other new factors, coming in where people are finding out about us in different ways. The word of mouth thing is huge. Yeah. And so we're really excited that all the things came together correctly this year. Really did. So Alliance Gator, they're actually our sponsor now, so thank you to Alliance Gator. But they have a beautiful booth over here, so I know the type of money they're spending here. Yeah. This show is actually a huge economic driver for Louisville. And the reason that we have it in Louisville every year, that's often a question that people ask, is because we have such a large outdoor area. Yes. So the outdoor space is 30 acres between the two shows. And it's just a great space because you can actually try equipment, you can, work with pavers and just move things around, test things out. So it's such a, that's the reason we have it here in Louisville, is because this is the only convention center in the country that has an outdoor space that is contiguous to the indoor space. Wow. Like right next door. So you can literally just walk right outside and, try some of the equipment out. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, except for the hardscape part. What can they do with the equipment? Can they actually do they have competitions in the, in the equipment industry as well out there? No. Or just trying them out? Yes, just trying them out, that sort of thing, exactly. Okay. Hardscape is the only competition, the installer competition is the only competition on site. And so we get a lot of, the
lawn and landscape crowd coming over to this competition. And you know what? It's great because then they learn about the hardscape industry and say, I think I want to start, learning more about this in building and maybe adding this to my repertoire of what I do. So it's just a nice mix between the two industries.
After the show, they want to be entertained. What can they look forward to this week at downtown?
Well, I live in Louisville, and so it's nice to welcome so many new faces to Louisville this time every year. Downtown is really where we focus the entertainment, and we have some concerts and different things going on. So tomorrow night, Thursday night, Trace Adkins is performing at 4th Street Live. It's an entirely free concert.
Wow.
We almost always have we always have concerts. It's usually a big name star, so it was really a nice.
Last year was what was it, Granger?
Granger Smith.
Yes,
exactly.
You got Trace Atkins tomorrow night.
Trace, I think that's a big deal.
Wow,
And
that's huge.
It's free for any of the attendees.
Wow, that's great.
And then of course, in Louisville you have the various bourbon distilleries, and so those are always a big draw at this time of year. And there are more and more popping up. In Louisville, you used to have to go outside of Louisville to get to the distilleries, but now there's like satellite locations downtown, so you can kind of go and see a small, how a distillery on a smaller level would operate and would work. So that's a fun thing. And then there's a lot of great restaurants and
the culture at downtown's great. I love it.
Oh, thanks.
I love it.
It's a good. I think it provides a nice, base of activity for and I mean, everyone down there during this time is from this show. So it's just really, you just meet so many new people that are in your industry, and you can network with them, and you make long-lasting relationships. It's great.
It's really hard to get a seat for dinner downtown.
Yes,
this place is jam-packed. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you a little story. Last year, we had the best time at a comedy show called The Black Jockeys. It was so fun. We had
really.
It was kind of something we stumbled upon.
Yeah.
It's something we stumbled upon, but it was like amazing. We had the best time. But we got picked on a little bit at the comedy show, but that was all right.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all right.
Sometimes the best finds are the ones you stumble upon. So
that's right.
Yes. Well, listen, I really appreciate both of you sitting down with the Outdoor Project